This podcast is part of the No Phony Podcast Network, the home of independent awesomeness.
Guys, welcome to another episode of On the Road with Jim and Casey. As usual, the man sporting a similar white shirt as me today, but my shoulders look bigger than his today, even though he's about, 50 pounds heavier. Casey Shearer.
Let's ride, brother.
Today, our guest is libertarian independent candidate. Independent candidate for the 2020 presidential race. Albert, I'm going to spell this correctly, pronounce this correctly, Raley.
Raley. You're pretty close.
I told you, Casey.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Well, I said that originally. People, I'm a good last name speller. I just got to go with my gut and not have people tell me what to do like Casey does all the time. All right. So I think Casey actually had the first question for you that he's a one, they're called one issue voters. I think that's Casey. Casey, go. Why don't you start it off with your question?
So Albert, let's just get into it. Tell us why you're running for president of the United States.
Well, first of all, I want you to know that I hate politics, and I never voted in my life. And back on November 21st, 2019, I was sitting in a McDonald's restaurant in LaVale, Maryland, with a bunch of my buddies, and I said, they were arguing about politics, and I got tired of hearing it. I said, you know what? I'm going to run for president of the United States. And the guy sitting across from me named Bob Jones. I said, Bob, you want to be my running mate? He said, well, sure. So then I started to formulate, how can I do this? How can I do it with no money, no experience, never having voted, one-man campaign? And I don't want to be considered like a kook, but I wanted to be bona fide. I wanted people to respect what I was doing and so forth. So that's how it all started. And boy, this one-man campaign is tough. It's tough trying to go from nobody to somebody.
Yeah, okay, I have a follow-up with that. Now, you said no money, but you are a driver's ed teacher.
Oh yeah, I got money. I mean, I got money for my
I know how much
stuff.
teachers are doing great right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I just wasn't going to get into putting a lot of money into a campaign because I don't have money to put into a campaign. And when I went to the Federal Elections Committee and I heard that I had to register with them, I called them twice just to make sure. And I said, do I have to register with you? And they said, how much money do you have in your campaign? And I said, zero. They said, well, you don't even have to register with us.
Yeah, apparently anybody can run for president. You don't need to have a degree. You don't need to have anything. All you need to do is be just a citizen.
That's right. Well, there are some qualifications, age and born year.
Age, right. But I mean, as far as like what we're thinking of is, oh, really? He went to Stanford. Wow. Oh, okay. And, she organ donor, none of that matters.
What you're saying is you don't have to be rich and powerful to do it.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's me.
Right.
Yeah.
Same here. Go ahead.
So,
tell us where you're from and all that good stuff, Albert.
I'm from Frostburg, Maryland. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. We're about equal distance between Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. We're way up in the mountains. If you look at a map of Maryland, the narrowest part of Maryland, that's us. Life's good here. Life's laid back. I got a degree and all that stuff, and I'm retired, but I love teaching driver education. I've been doing it for 25 years, so I'm really not retired. 4 kids, 11 grandchildren, married to a wonderful woman of 46 years named Darlene, and I'm just loving life.
Okay, yeah, it's good to stay married, family. That's hanging on to your loved ones, not just remarrying 20 times. Case, do you have Case is going to start off with your stances on this, that, and the other, and then we'll just go off that.
Sure. So how do you feel about the legalization of marijuana?
Well, I'm kind of old school on that. I didn't like it to be legalized, but there again, now that it is, I think it ought to be set across the country. I don't think states ought to do it individually. I just think there ought to be a standard across the United States. And I feel that way about laws and about the virus thing, how it's treated and so forth. I just think that we're one country and there needs to be leadership. There need to be laws, and it's good for all the states. We're not 50 individual countries. I think we're one country with 50 states.
What are your
Take,
thoughts
for instance, driving laws. It's different in Maryland. I mean, basically the same, but there's different laws in Maryland than there is right here in Pennsylvania. It's 2 miles away.
Right. Well, there's also, there's traveling laws where as citizens, if we're traveling, you can legally travel without licensure or anything. Like you can just say, I'm a lone man. It's like, don't they have, it's like, it's this strange rule where you can basically drive something. I don't know if the car has to be a certain way or if it's horse and buggy maybe or something like that. But they're called like traveling permit. I don't know what they're called. I shouldn't even get into it because I was going to read up on that, but I didn't. Real quick, okay, so you think that we should be in one world or one country government. What is your stance on hydroxychloroquine? Do you think it works or it doesn't work?
I can't believe that the people in charge haven't done enough research, surround themselves by as many medical people as they can that are experts. The answer to that, I just don't know. And you don't know if the things you see on the news or Facebook, if it's fake news or not. But that certainly needs looked at quick. And I hope they're looking at that. It seems like there's some positive results. Is that true stuff? I don't know.
Right. I mean, that's why the right is saying, oh, all these international doctors, it was like, what, 1,500 or 2,000 or 6,000 doctors all came together to say, hey, we've been treating it all this time with hydroxychloroquine and we've healed, it's like 98% of people or 100% or something. It works on everybody. And then you have like big pharma and everyone else saying, it doesn't work. It's all a lie. It's misinfo. You read something, you don't read something, you're uninformed, and you read something, then you're misinformed. So what do? That's why, quick, Casey, block this off for promotion. That's why we, if you don't believe in hydroxychloroquine or not, or you do, that's why we're selling desert parsley, ancient Native American witch doctor oil. Hey, this isn't me saying this. It's the University of California is already saying it. It's cured every virus. Every tribe that took it, all these doctors, like in-home doctors back in the early 1900s were like, no one got the Spanish flu. No one got all these viruses. So that's why, hey, no one understands anything. We're going right witch doctor. All right, so you don't take sides. You believe the virus is real, but have you read about all the people that are dying?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I believe there's underlying sinister intent here with this virus. And there's so much back and forth. I believe with all the cases there are of this coronavirus, and it's in the millions now, why there's only like 1 or 2% of people that die. And looking at stats from the past, there's been viruses and illnesses that have killed more people, percentage-wise. There's something going on here. I just can't put my thumb on it.
Yeah, now they just lowered the death rate to 0.03 now. It's actually even lower than it was before. I just saw that recently. And they're still even counting people dying of gunshot wounds and car accidents. That little baby slipping in the bathtub and dying. So, what are your stances on? Because right now the biggest divide is this: where is your mask to protect you from the world's deadliest virus in the history of mankind? When they typically wear like hazmat suits to protect you from viruses, but a mask. Or are you wear a mask? Do you want us to get yelled at as we're walking outside of our house to get in our car and we don't have a mask on, that we should get attacked by like some more mask police hired by big mask companies? for wearing a mask outside, or do you think that we should wear it because last time we checked, we're in America, and if you want to die, you're free to not wear it and just.
Yeah, I don't go along with that. You know, I believe, first of all, there's a lack of leadership in this country, and there's a hierarchy. And I believe that the President of the United States needs to call the shots with his advisors, his medical people, talk with Congress about it and things like that, whatever it is. But I want you to know that the President of the United States has powers that he is not using. Now, he pulled out this Insurrection Act here not too long ago, and a lot of people didn't even know what it was. But I'm going to tell you something. There's something that's constitutionally legal that the president can do. He either doesn't know about it, and past presidents don't know about it, or they know about it and they choose not to use it for several reasons, meaning that maybe they're afraid of offending people or afraid of what the public might feel. But I'm going to tell you what, my campaign is that I have a secret. And boy, you should hear the number of people that say, what's your secret? Well, if you were a good candidate, you know, even if you weren't elected, you would let that information out to the world. I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling anybody that's listening, within the laws of the Constitution and the powers of the president, there is a loophole in there that will allow that president to pretty much do whatever he wants. Now, you might say, come on now, I've studied that Constitution. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to let it out. I've got a secret. But I'm going to tell you, when I'm in there, things are going to change big time. And I've even tweeted Donald Trump about it. I've even said to him, and I know he probably thinks I'm crazy, but I said, Mr. Trump, I have some information that can really help you. That'll make a huge difference. Told him I was a presidential candidate and all that. And no response, of course, because I'm a nobody.
Well, instead of exposing your secret, why can you give us a hint on what article in the Constitution this is? And you know, we're not going to write it down or anything. I just want to know a hint.
It's under the powers of the president.
Yeah, Casey, just don't write this down or anything.
It's like that Insurrection Act, and it might not only be the powers of the president, but the application of them.
Okay, so insurrection is basically what Jesus got killed for.
No, that's resurrection, isn't it?
No, that's
I don't know what the insurrection is. Actually, I know.
No, it's just like basically insurrections when isn't that when you go against whatever you're not for American government.
I don't know it fully, but I know in this case he was allowed to bring federal troops in to the cities.
Insurrection is a violent uprising against an authority or government.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so you're saying when I was bringing up the masks, that he should tell everyone, guys, it's all, you know, it's not like going to kill you. Just wear masks if you want to, or don't wear them if you don't want to. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I completely skirted that issue when you first asked that. Not intentionally. I believe with all the president's knowledge and the knowledge of all his advisors and so forth, he ought to declare, and I made a list on my Facebook post. You ought to see them. You go to Albert Raley on Facebook, and I'll tell you, I got videos and I got everything. But if he declares that we need to social distance and wear masks and cough into our elbows and whatever it is, I think people need to do it. You wouldn't believe the number of people that have responded to my post saying things like, well, you know, this is a free country, and where's there a law where I have to wear that? Well, you know what? When in doubt, take the safe course.
I mean, yes, I understand. It's nice to be nice. It's good. It's good to be nice. But I mean, should we be legally obligated to cough in our arms? Or if Casey's, you know, in the car next to me, and I'm talking to him and I accidentally, you know, I'm like, hey, and I choke and I spit on him or something like that. You know, does that count as breaking the law then? You know, my thing is this. It's cool to be nice. It's like smoking in bars. Do you want to, because bars, there's a small number of bars that still allow smoking. Now, should we have non-smoking bars? Sure. Okay, that's cool. Should we have smoking bars? Okay, if you want to kill yourself and do that, I mean, last time I checked, you're in America, you can legally, we're allowed by, I'm pretty sure, I was looking up stuff somewhere, we're allowed to be dicks in America. It's not breaking the law to be a douchebag. What was the other word? Creeper. Yeah, stalking's legal. You know, you know what I mean? You're allowed to do this. There's no laws against it. You should. It's nice if you're nice and, you know, oh, he's being nice because he's sick and he's protecting himself. But realistically, like, isn't that forcing people to just, like, you know, they don't want to. Plus,
okay, it's not a law, but it can be a temporary law. And if you can't protect yourself and others, then somebody needs to do it for you. That's what. Now, let me give you an example. In the states that I ride motorcycles, right here in Pennsylvania, 2 miles away, people are not allowed to wear helmets. You know the dangers of not wearing a helmet when you're riding a motorcycle, but they gave people the choice there. It's deadly. That's like if I want to jump out of an airplane without a chute, I should be able to do it. There's laws wherever you go in the world.
I understand. That's why I'm using it like the cigarette. Do you agree that people should be allowed to smoke cigarettes then?
Yeah, I believe.
I mean, they kill way more people. They kill way more people than the coronavirus.
Well, you know what's keeping that going? The tobacco companies, I guess. Big money. Big money's keeping that. And
Big Mask. And Big Mask is keeping the mask agenda coming because that's back Big Pharma.
Well, I'll tell you what. If overwhelmingly it showed that wearing masks was the way to combat this virus, I think it ought to be mandated. Now, can you find people? Can you not? You know, that's tough. And here's something that I really don't like: letting each individual governor of each state call the shots. I think it ought to be standard across the United States. And if the president and the people in charge say, well, look, in Arkansas, it shows right now that the rate has gone down. Let's gradually open up this state. But for these governors, that's 50 different people making 50 different decisions. I just think there's people unqualified. You know, for a governor to allow people in Sturgis, what is it, North Dakota, have that rally last week with the motorcycles, 250,000 people without masks. Come on now, somebody got to put a stop to that.
Yeah, my buddy Cole Freeman just jumped there. He did a hell of a jump there at Sturgis. Here's my thing, Albert. If people are so scared about this virus, this is, you know, like Jim always says, last time we checked, this is America. If you're that afraid of a virus and you think that a mask is going to protect you from it, why not just stay away from someone who isn't wearing it? Why do you have to go get in their face and yell at them and say, you have to wear this mask, here's a fine. You're getting a fine now because you're not wearing a mask.
Well, then he's going to social distance probably without a mask. So at least he's doing part. But again, the death rate is so low right now for this compared to other viruses and of the past. The only thing for certain anymore is uncertainty. Man, you just don't know what to do anymore. But if you want to go without your mask, that's fine. I'm going to wear mine. Should you be fined for not wearing it? Maybe there's not enough evidence right now to say that, hey, absolutely every citizen is going to wear a mask, and if they don't, we're going to fine them. We're not there right now.
Some cities
they're just
are
asking people to do it.
Some cities are there.
Really?
Yeah, Austin was. I was living in Austin, and they had that. I think it's still active right now. I think so. And it's just outside. Like you go outside, you know, you'll see, you know, woman walking by probably with like, you know, some sort of electronic weed pen or something like that, you know, that, and she goes, if you don't put that, like they'll yell at you. I was walking outside of Wawa.
You don't want to confront somebody.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, you're just like walking, I was just going to my cup, yeah, you know what I mean? I was walking outside of Wawa here in Pennsylvania. You have to wear a mask in Wawa. So as soon as I open the door and it's hot outside, you get the punch in the face of heat. I'm like, And I'm like, oh, to get this mask off. Oh, so I can finally breathe. And all of a sudden, this woman walks by me and just and looks at me like that. And obviously, she's masked, and I could see her mouth, even though I could.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean, like that. And I was like, but I'm legally allowed to take it off now. You know what I mean? Like, people really. Okay, well, aside from my issues with that, so you believe that it should come from the top, pyramid scheme. Did you ever do pyramid schemes? So you believe from the top, everyone should go into it. Global world order. So are you a fan of the UN and global enslavement?
Well, I can tell you this. I don't know enough about the UN, but I think their purpose is to help keep world peace, sort of police the world. Well, I'll tell you what, when I take office, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address the UN, and I'm going to tell them that here's what I think should happen. And if it's not already happening, I think you ought to go with Robert Glasser's 5 basic things that every human being needs. And every country needs to provide that for their people. And if they don't, well, you're in Dutch with us, you know, there'll be penalties, but every person. And then Eleanor Roosevelt come out with her 86 human rights things. But in this world, just make sure people are provided the basics that's necessary for life. And, you know, just go on with life. Run your country the way you want. But people have basic rights that need met.
All right. So you didn't hear then in the UN when which one? It was one of the UN Council guys. Someone I forget where it was. Death to Christians. We can't wait until we have an actual one world religion. It's going to be the opposite of Jesus believers. Ha ha ha! Laughing at the over the destruction of free will. And you didn't hear that? It was on C-SPAN played. My mom showed it to me like a long time ago, and she made me look it up because she doesn't use the internet. But I had to like Google it, which was really hard to find even like 8 years ago. When they're laughing at over like having a one world religion, that basically Christians are evil. They hate Jesus because he's so loving. You didn't hear any of that about the UN?
Look, you're getting a little deep into that for me. All I know is that, and I'll research everything once I'm in there. You know, I'll jump in there at full speed. But I believe that everybody needs God in their life, or some supreme force, some supreme being, because you'd have to be a moron not to realize that everything that we see or do came from somewhere, and whether it's an entity of some sort, you know, God as we know him, whatever. But you need to be like thankful to him, like, hey, thanks for giving me a good life and things like that. You know, I'm not into religion too much, but I will tell you this: in my campaign, as of recent, I was afraid to mention God in my campaign because people think you're a religious zealot. Well, lately I've been starting to mention God and that he's guiding me. And the truth of the matter is he is. You know, hear about maybe a couple months back when I'd go to bed at night and pray, I'd said to God, you know, I'd say my regular prayer, and then I'd say, God, if it's your will, help me out with my campaign, because I believe I can help the world. I can help the country without a doubt. And, you know, did he speak to me directly? No, but there's been things that's popped into my mind that's sort of given me some good strategy, I think.
When you call upon the Holy Spirit, that's what God says, that it's easy. You know what I mean? I don't know how deep you get into your relationship with Jesus, but I mean, I also wanted to ask, so what's your stance on the protests? Should we keep burning down all the police stations and all the buildings? I don't like, how long should we keep, or how many more?
Am I glad you asked that? Number one, our Constitution allows people to protest. But when you start infringing on others, property and so forth, that's where it stops right there. It's criminal. And I believe if you have to use the Insurrection Act or whatever to come in and squash all this, that's what you're going to have to do. But you can't be a wimp about it.
That's what they're using. I think they're using the Insurrection Act because they're like, hey, let's burn all these buildings down because it's a violent uprising against the government. I wonder if they got together and they're like, hey, you know what we can do? Let's call it a protest and let's just, destroy the whole thing. Which I'm all for. I love protesting, or I love. I'm protest. You can protest whatever you want. You can protest love. You can protest hate. Like there's some people that hate loving. I mean, especially some of these women that gather around in secret. I don't know if they do, but they, you can protest anything. Awesome, great. Yeah, I'm not big on like I would push and help anybody protesting whatever they feel, but yeah, I'm not trying to burn things down and shoot people in the back of the head, stop them in the road and stuff. And we've seen that, but that's what they're using. They're using what seems like the insurrection is a violent uprising against authority and trying to make it seem legal in a way. No, we're protest. Whoops, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm just holding this, burning American flag, and I'm just burning this Bible. It's perfectly, which it is legal to do, but Hitler burned all the books, but and Bibles. But and then all of a sudden, oh, I tripped. Oh, the building blew up. I'm sorry. It was all in the thing of protesting. They're, I think, using insurrection maybe to come in and overthrow the country.
There's people going into them protests that don't even have a dog in the fight. They just get in it because they want to do it. And you know what? There's a term called wimpification. And I put wimpy in there because it begins with a P, the word that they use. But anyway, people are just wimps anymore. Nobody's tough. Nobody wants to say no, afraid of offending people. Sometimes you got to get down and get dirty. And when it comes to these rioters tearing these buildings down and looting and all that, there needs to be fair warning. Look, if this occurs, we're going to take care of things. And I don't care if it's a stun gun, troops marching in advance to try to clear the streets, and in some cases, maybe even brutal force and weaponry.
For what? For what?
For people that are looting and
look, they're breaking the law. Yeah, right.
Yeah, breaking the law, criminal. That's criminal activity right there.
Right.
And they're doing it in masses, and it needs.
Casey.
Go ahead.
Casey never even wants me coming to his house. Just I'm trying to show up. Bored one day, driving around on coffee all day. Apparently people don't like their houses broken into and burnt down.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
But all right, well, before we wrap up, you're pretty, confident in what you're trying to say. So you have your vice president. What's your last thoughts on? Are you ready for all the dirt they're going to dig up on you? I don't know what goes on behind in secret school things, but.
I'm going to tell you what, there has been so many negative comments, nasty, vulgar stuff brought my way. And you know where it comes from mostly? My local area, people that I've known for a long time. And yeah, I understand if I get bigger, yeah, I'm going to have to be real careful. Am I going to have to contact the Secret Service saying, hey, do you think I'm a big enough candidate now you can help me out here? There's something I want to say to you, Jim, real quick. Take 30 seconds. I want people to know that when I launched this campaign, I figured, how could I get myself out there the most? Well, social media I did, word of mouth, but then I emailed 250 major news agencies and newspapers to get the word out, and I'm hoping just one takes care of it and it snowballs. But right now I'm searching to be heard.
All right. Yeah, well, hey, you got to conquer the city first. So all those people that are probably like, oh, I know Albert, I used to date him. Any girl you've ever known, they're probably going to start being like, oh yeah, anything could be brought up against you. You were dancing with a girl sometime. She might be grinding up on your, region there. Yeah, and they're like, I felt something once. And
well, I'm pretty much pearly white. What do you mean pretty much? But, and I don't even curse. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Well, anyway, hey, are you guys going to have me back on your show? And can you help me out here as far as exposure. I mean, people will tune in. I don't know what your following is, but I hope it's a lot.
We have
Absolutely.
we have a
Tell
lot
us,
of
go.
okay on Casey. We have a
All
whole
right, Casey,
spiel
it's
we
your
have to
turn,
do
buddy.
here.
Jump in there.
We have hot chicks. Okay, a lot of them are the Instagram girls with big butts, lip injections, fillers. A lot of because right now the theme of what's hot is big butt. In about 15, 20 years, it's going to be, I personally think it always changes. Used to be boobs, now it's butts. It's going to be something with the forehead, I think. They need a lot of room for, what they do with that thing.
People in my family have such big heads. We have 5 heads.
Albert,
Hey,
tell
I
us.
don't know if you're serious about your audience and stuff, but I hope this goes somewhere. I really do. And I'd like to be back anytime.
Absolutely, Albert. Yeah, we're gonna have to discuss a little more of your. Maybe we'll have to try and get on the same level with some of your.
You know what?
platforms.
Even though you guys might not have agreed with me totally on some of the things, you're a nice guy. You see both sides. You have an opinion. You didn't jump on me about it. I like that.
Absolutely, yeah. We're willing to listen to anybody. Like the other day, we had David Weiss on. He's the #1 flat earther in the country. Am I a flat earther? No, but I'm willing to listen to his, what he has to say, and it really makes you think a lot. So, yeah, absolutely, we'll have you back on, and go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you: Facebook, website, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Can you send me a copy of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, just send it to my email there. And hey, listen, guys, is that it then?
Can you just tell us your website, where people can find you?
I'm just on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Albert_Raley. But if you search Albert Raley, you can get me. And I'm on YouTube and all that. I have a series of videos. I'm up to number 30 in my campaign videos.
Great.
You're also on Twitter, right? I thought I saw you on Twitter.
I am on Twitter, yeah.
Okay. What's the
Instagram.
Do you want to say that name, or just want to?
What's that?
Do you want to say your Twitter name, or just whatever?
Yeah, I didn't. It's at Albert Raley.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, man. Thanks a lot for coming on. We will hopefully, we'll see what happens if we're all going to just be forcibly inoculated and put a gun to our head to wear masks or not.
I can tell that's kind of a sore subject with you, but if you don't want to wear it, don't wear it. But I hope you don't infect anybody.
He's a super spreader.
I'm not a spreader.
And they have tracking devices now that people you're associated with and have been in contact with, and it branches out. It's like a whole new science now.
Right.
Yeah. Jim's what I like to call a super spreader.
Oh, really? I used to do that in my garden when I was growing up. But anyway, guys, hey, I like you guys.
All right. Thank you, Albert. We like you too, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, take care then.
All right, buddy. See you, man. Good
All
luck.
right, bye.